What are you willing to do to keep a job you love? Work overtime? Add 30 minutes to your commute? Wherever you draw the line, I hope we can all agree that no one should be willing to lie to a child in order to stay on the payroll, and especially not when those lies can do real damage to school-age children. That might not strike you as all that controversial, but it has real-world implications in Loudoun County, Virginia. My name is Monica Gill. In my quarter century of teaching, I've taught students from a wide variety of ethnic and socioeconomic backgrounds, and I treasure my students. Over the years, I have developed good relationships with my students to understand their individual personalities, strengths, and aspirations, and to help equip them to realize their true potential. But in 2021, the Loudoun County School Board presented teachers like me with an impossible choice. In order to keep our livelihoods, we would be forced to lie to students about the most fundamental points of biological reality. Despite the enormous number of genuine concerns expressed by parents and teachers, which came from across political spectrums, the board adopted Policy 8040. The policy forces teachers, staff, and even students to call girls boys and boys girls solely based on another student's stated gender identity. Even more alarming, school regulations also allow staff and teachers to cut parents out of the equation entirely, concealing the fact that children as young as kindergarten are identifying as the opposite sex during school hours. There are no exceptions, no middle ground, no opportunity to compromise for the sake of conscience. Under 8040, you can only work at Loudoun County Public Schools if you agree to become a mouthpiece for the reigning ideology. I have taught many transgender identifying students over the years. I've seen their real pain and discomfort with their physical bodies. I've also seen them simultaneously face many other conditions, including depression, eating disorders, and anxiety. But the board mandates what is known as social transitioning for every student who identifies as the opposite sex. Social transitioning is a form of psychiatric treatment, transforming the way students and teachers interact to affirm the student's asserted gender identity. So the policy demands that we participate in what is essentially a treatment plan without providing for any mental health assessment, let alone a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. That doesn't serve a child's best interests. In fact, there's very good reason to believe it would steer them away from getting other help they really need. Research shows that when kids who grapple with gender dysphoria are allowed to go through puberty, the vast majority will come to accept their biological sex. Those who go through social transition often go on to puberty blockers, hormone treatments, and surgery, all of which have irreversible physical and mental impacts that may cause a lifetime of regret. The Loudoun County School Board has willfully ignored the rising evidence of these regrets and the irreversible damage suffered by people who have detransitioned. The board's one-size-fits-all policy only increases the likelihood of such harms, and for me, that is truly heartbreaking. I've loved and cherished every student I have ever taught over the years. But my duty to be honest and to always act in my students' best interests means I can't always do or say everything they ask. That's why even though I call my transgender identifying students by the name they choose, I can't use pronouns that are inconsistent with their sex. That would be affirming that a boy is a girl or vice versa. And that's just not true. The most loving thing we can do is to speak to others in words that are accurate and true. The board's new rule keeps me from doing what I have always done: deal in love and honesty with every student that crosses the threshold into my classroom. So with the help of Alliance Defending Freedom, 2 fellow teachers and I filed a lawsuit challenging this unconstitutional edict. I'm not a lawyer, but I do know that it's always harmful for government officials to force citizens to say things they believe are wrong. And I'm not a doctor, But even I know you can't prescribe a treatment before diagnosing a condition. While I am concerned about my constitutionally protected freedom, as all Americans should be, I am far more concerned about what's best for my students. And for the sake of these kids, I want to see an end to this destructive policy. And so should you.